It's now time to review headlines of today's newspapers, starting with...
All right. With this day on Saturday, from top to bottom, the window story says Uzoka Anite announces $30 billion foreign investment commitments in 8 months, reveals Shell to expand operation in Nigeria, Nigerian bottling company to invest $1 billion in 5 years. That's the Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment. Everybody is gearing up, because you'll soon be assessed by the time the administration clocks one year. Under that story is still on the touching story of the demise of Abatwigwe and the others. Fubara, Eno, Oti, Kiamo, Obagbena sympathize with Abatwigwe's parents. That story is on page 5 of today's This Day. And if you look at the 2 cover pictures, is from that story on page 5. First picture, we share in your grief, showing similarly Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, with the mother of late Herbert, Mrs. Stella Wigwe. And the other picture showing the chairman, editor-in-chief of This Day Media Group and Arise News Channel, Prince Nduka Obagbena, with others at the home consoling the father of Herbert Wigwe in Lagos yesterday. The lead story in today's This Day says federal government pleads as NLC declares 2-day nationwide protest over growing economic hardship. Insecurity. Labour charges government to introduce policies to address workers' suffering. Naira depreciates further to 1,620 Naira to $1 on parallel FX market. That's not a good one at all, but that's the story of our lives in Nigeria as at today. On top of that, Senate, National Assembly ready to legislate on state police if it will address current challenges. Declares Nigerians will determine if parliamentary will replace presidential system of government. 2 important national issues that everybody will have to be alive and alert to. The issue of state police. I am more about community policing because I know what it would take to get the state policing thing passed. Even if you pass it, you also don't want an accorder kind of arrangement that governors will be, ordering around. But the community policing, that's within the purview of the Inspector General of Police and the state governors at the same time. And of course, the quest, the quest whether to return to parliamentary, or remain with the presidential system of government. 60 lawmakers, federal lawmakers already are without opinion. We'll see how that goes. Nigerians basically are saying that the cost of governance is too much. If it will mean returning to parliamentary or just cut the cost of governance, then we will have to take a decision. Yeah, those are the stories.
Very quickly, the
Saturday Tribune, because the main story here is 38 years after court orders Tinubu's government to find, try Dele Giwa's killers, and that story is on page 5. Okay. And the story also, does talk about the death of journalists, journalists' rights to life. Right to life that is enshrined in our constitution, and also the need for the government to protect journalists from prosecution and also from death. And I think that's a huge story that's coming out now.
Fantastic story that Tribune is leading with, because that's a story that is popular among journalists all over Nigeria today.
Yes.
Great one that we are returning to the trial, trial of who killed Dele Giwa in 1996.
All right, very quickly, the Saturday Vanguard. I want to touch on the top story there because we had spoken about it last week. Mustawa explores greater ways for Nigerian superstars. That's on page 20, and I think it's very important to note that it's on here that her strategy is to find a way to reach out to young talents have a potential to improve opportunities at home. Here in Lagos, here in Nigeria.
That's the key word.
Yes.
And isn't it strange that the minister has not found it, necessary to respond to the allegations flying about that she's championing the move to bring African Grammys, to Nigeria? I think full disclosure is important.
Definitely.
And if you are going to be creative and manage the creative economy, full disclosures are important.
Definitely.
Respond, Honorable Minister.